in America that everybody who works should receive fair shake, fair pay. Everybody who works should be treated with respect and dignity. Workers don't have to fight to be able to use the restrooms. Workers are not machines, they are human beings, and the line speed must be manageable. So that's why we're here. We believe in an economy that works for all of Minnesotans, for all working people in the United States and around the world.
Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. You know, you only have to watch television, maybe see a news show, read an article to know that during the coronavirus pandemic, worker activism over safety protections, job security, and wages has increased. It's increased in the face of the economic shutdown and health fears. Some of these workers, they say unionizing as their best hope to create a better work environment. So I sat down recently with Ed Flash Ference. He's the host of America's Workforce. It's the only daily labor radio show in the country, and it just happens to be sponsored by some of the most powerful labor unions in the U.S. I figured who better to understand the pros and cons of union membership than someone like Flash. He's a guy who talks to labor leaders almost every single day, and he's also arguably on the front line in the battle for worker rights. If you want to know the pros and cons of union membership, you won't get better advice than from Ed Flash Ference.
I think we found out, especially in this pandemic, that those who belonged to a union had better safety gear, obviously better wages, better health benefits. If they got sick on the job, they got paid for their time off. There's a lot of people, especially in retail and the restaurant industry, you get sick, you don't get any paid time off.
Right.
How many times have you gone to a restaurant and the waitress or waiter, you could tell they have something wrong, they're sneezing, but they have to work because they're not going to get paid if they don't show up. So there's a lot of benefits to unions. If you want to start a union, go to the AFL-CIO website, aflcio.org. Talk to other union members. Get educated about unions first. And the AFL-CIO does a pretty good job. They have these so-called toolkits that help you have a voice at work, and that's what this is all about, having a voice at work. They'll guide you through, they'll tell you the pros and the cons, what may or may not happen to you. I think you just have to research a lot about what unions do and the benefits of a union versus a non-union. I can tell you that the median salary in America today, we're talking about anywhere $30,000, $40,000 perhaps. If you compare that with a non-union, you're talking about a 20% difference. And that's why employers don't want unions, because they don't want to pay more, they don't want to provide the benefits. So the union difference, as I say it, is always beneficial to the worker. And down the road, I mean, pensions, welfare, I can go on and on and on. There's a lot of benefits out of that. And that's kind of the sell for unions. I mean, AFL-CIO or any union organizer will tell you that. Now, I will tell you this. If you're in an occupation that's not unionized and you feel that you're getting cheated and you want to start a union, you could get fired. The stats bear this out. About 1 out of 4 people that try to start a union will get fired on their job. And you can it's illegal for an employer to do that, but good luck. Yeah. Eventually you take your case and it could be years later and you'll get some kind of a ruling. It'll probably be in your favor, but you're not going to get very much. That's what's going to happen. 18 to 34-year-olds are very receptive to unions, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. They don't have jobs. This is the population that went to college, lots of college debt. They're ending up in dead-end jobs, and they're realizing that they can do a whole lot better. And you're seeing this happen in digital workplaces. Google, for one, in Pittsburgh, has organized with the steelworkers. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Uber, out, and there's a law in California they're fighting over now on misclassification of workers. But Uber drivers realize they're getting screwed over, and they're trying to form these alliances. Domestic workers, the women that work, many of them immigrants, that work in hotels cleaning beds. They have an alliance together. The farm workers have organized. We're seeing a lot of these pockets of younger people saying, you know what, we got to do something. And we got to do it right away because we're not making it in this economy. They don't have the good wages. They certainly don't have benefits. None of them have any pensions. They don't have anything. The 401k was supposed to supplement, and employers have decided not to contribute. Many of them are not contributing to 401k today. So as a result, you're seeing a lot of younger people that want unions. The older folks, yeah, I think a lot of them are at that stage, especially the ones that worked in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. They're now retired, and they're reaping those benefits that the unions gave them. My mother, for one. My dad was a steel worker. I mean, that's how I got involved in unions. And in fact, I worked part-time at a steel mill when I got out of high school for just the summers. And my dad passed away in 1991. My mother was able, in the 16 years after, that she was able to keep her home because of what my dad had. He had a good pension, he had good benefits, plus the Social Security. It made it happen. You don't have that today.
Sadly, you don't have that today. 30% of public employees are unionized, but only 7% of private sector workers are union members. Now, that number, it's probably going to grow. It's likely to grow as workers as they feel more and more left out. But what will older workers do? Will they risk being fired for starting or joining a union? Well, given how difficult it is for workers 50 and older to find a new job, especially now during a pandemic, that's a decision that won't come easy. Well, I want to thank Ed Flash Ference for taking the time out of his busy schedule to discuss the pros and cons of union membership. And I also want to thank the folks at the Ironworkers Hall for allowing us to tape this segment of Over 50 TV. One more thing before I forget, I will ask you to please go ahead and subscribe to Over 50 TV. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.